Now we're going to look at section 2.2 on circles. You can see in this section we are only going to do examples 1, 2, 3, and 5. Again, let's try to fill in these blanks. By definition, a circle is the set of all points in a plane that lie a given distance from a given point. The given distance is called the radius, and the given point is the center. Here is the center radius form of the equation of a circle. In this section we will talk about two different forms, the center radius form and standard form. With the center radius form, the center is the point HK. Radius is defined as R. Notice in the formula this is always minus. It's going to be x minus a value squared plus, this is always plus, y minus a value squared equal the radius squared. Okay? Also notice if the center is 0, 0, so h and k are both 0, x minus 0 is simply x. So if the center is 0, 0, then you don't have parentheses, you just have x squared plus y squared. So let's look at this example here. I want to find the center radius form of the equation given this center and this radius. Well, using the formula, that's x minus h. H is negative 3, so I have a negative negative here, squared plus y minus 4 squared equals the radius squared. Minus a negative is positive, so I have x plus 3 squared plus y minus 4 squared equals 36. And that's all they want you to do is to write the center radius form of the equation. So this is my answer. Now I want to point out something here. Notice the center is negative 3, positive 4. Notice in the equation I have plus 3 and negative 4. When you're going back and forth from the center to the equation, those signs will change. Negative 3 goes to positive 3, positive 4 goes to negative 4. That is because of this minus sign in the formula. Okay, let's look at the center of 0, 0. X minus 0 squared plus y minus 0 squared equals the radius squared. Again, x minus 0 is just x. We don't need to put the x in parentheses, so it's just x squared plus y squared equals 3 squared, which is 9. So again, if the center is 0, 0, it's not going to look like this with parentheses. It's just going to be x squared plus y squared. Now let's look at graphing. Graphing a circle is very easy. You need to find two things. You need to find the center and you need to find the radius. Let's look at this example. The center of this example, remember to go back and forth from the equation to the center, we change the sign. So the center here is negative 3, positive 4. Very easy to get the center from this center radius form. The radius, if the equation equals 36, the radius is going to be 6, the square root of 36. Because when you went from the radius to the equation, we squared it. So now to go from the equation to the radius, you take the square root of that number. Now all you need to do is plot this point, negative 3, positive 4. Plot that point. This is my center. So my circle should be around this point. I have a radius of 6. That means I want to go in 6 all directions. Right, top, left, and down. Just from this point, count over 6 units. Don't include the point you're on. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. There's one edge of my circle. Let's go up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. There's another edge. Go to the left. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And go down. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Make sure Here and here I crossed over my axes. When you cross over an axis, you do have to count that as one of your points when you're counting. Now the circle is just those 4 outside dots connected. Now when you freehand, it may not look quite like a circle, but that's close enough. Okay, let's try B. Again, if there's no parentheses, the center is 0, 0. The radius is the square root of 9, or 3. Center 0, 0. Now go in 3 units, right, top, left, and down. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Now just connect those 4 outside points, and you have your circle. Okay? Now, those were all given the center radius form of a circle. Here is a general form of a circle. It looks like this. Now, I have several steps here written out that we're going to actually do an example, and I'm going to do all of these steps. But for right now, hopefully you've already read this. If not, just follow the example with me, and then as you do your homework, you can come back up here and read these steps. I think these steps are very helpful. You'll need to memorize this in order to do this. Some of you may have already completed the square. That's what we're doing here. We're going to complete the square to figure out if this is a circle. And I'll tell you at the end how you know if it's a circle or not. So to take this equation and find out if it's a circle, and if so, find the center radius, then I need to complete the square and make it look like a center radius equation. To do that, I want to put my x's together. Here they're already together. It might be arranged like it is up here, and you have to move this x term over here. So here they're already together. X squared minus 6x, leave a space. Now put the y terms together. Y squared plus 10y, leave a space. Equals, now let's move the number to the other side. When I move positive 25 to the right, it becomes negative 25. So I need to go in and fill in these spaces. I want to take the coefficient of x, negative 6, and I want to divide that by 2. Negative 6 divided by 2 is negative 3. Now I want to take this number and square it. Negative 3 squared is 9. So take the coefficient of x, including the sign, divide it by 2, then square that number. This is what you're going to add to both sides. I say both sides because remember, an equation is like a balance. Whatever I do to one side, I have to do to the other side. Okay? Now, let's figure out what goes in the y position. We're going to do the same thing. Take the coefficient of y, divide it by 2. The number we get, we're going to square it. So take 10, divide it by 2, you get 5. Now take 5 and square it, you get 25. So I want to add 25 to both sides here, on the left and the right. Now, these three numbers are going to become a binomial squared. And then I have plus, and then these three numbers are going to become a binomial squared. And then the right hand side, you just add all those numbers up. The negative 25, the positive 25 cancel. You're just left with 9. But we need to figure out what goes in these parentheses. Well, obviously x is going to go in this parentheses, y is going to go in this parentheses. The number you got when you divided by 2, that's the number that goes in the parentheses. So this is x minus 3, x plus 5. And you can check this. You can take x minus 3 times x minus 3, squaring it, pull that out, you should get x squared minus 6x plus 9. This is a perfect square trinomial. Now I have this equation. If the number on the right side is positive, then yes, it's a circle. So this is a circle. If it's a circle, it has a center and a radius. Let's find the center. Again, change the sign of the numbers in the parentheses. So the center is positive 3, negative 5. The radius is the square root of 9, which is 3. So it was a circle, therefore it does have a center and a radius. Okay, let's do another one. Here we have this general equation, and it says to determine, is it a point or is it non-existent? Well, we're going to go through the same steps of turning this into the center radius form. Put our x's together, skip a space. Put our y's together, skip a space. Bring the number to the other side. Okay, let's fill in the spaces. Take my x coefficient, divide by 2. Take that number, square it. Plus 25, plus 25. Take the coefficient of y, divide by 2, square negative 2. Negative 2 squared is 4. You should be adding a positive number to both sides, because at this point you should have squared numbers, so this should always be positive. So I want to add 4 to both sides. Okay, well, this perfect square trinomial becomes x plus 5 squared, plus this perfect square trinomial becomes y minus 2 squared. Add these numbers together on the right. 25 and 4 is 29. Negative 33 plus 29 is a negative 4. Now, because this number on the right is not not positive, then it is not a circle. Now I have two options. Either it's negative or it's 0. If it's negative, that means it's non-existent. So if the number on the right is negative, it's non-existent. If the number on the right is 0, then it's a point. If the number on the right is positive, then it's a circle, and you can find the center and the radius. Now you can go to your ebook and try exercises 1A and B, 7A and B, 21 and 25, and again, check your answers. And that concludes section 2.2.